I think I hurt someone.
Something terrible happened here.
Muy buenas, nación YouTube, ¿cómo andan? Soy Lucas Baini, esto es Cámara en Mano y estamos en una nueva entrevista que me pone muy contento tener en el canal. Vamos a tener un rato con el elenco de El Conjuro. Eso incluye a Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, la pareja, los Warren, pero también a Ruairi O'Connor, que es el nuevo protagonista de esta tercera película del Conjuro, El Diablo Me Hizo Hacerlo, y también con el director Michael Chavez, a quien le pregunté cómo es llenar los zapatos de alguien como James Wan, sobre todo en la saga de El Conjuro. Espero que les guste mucho la entrevista, perdón por esta introducción, pero me gusta hacerlas para que no sea como pum, la entrevista directa sin ningún tipo de saludo y demás. Si disfrutan este ratito con el elenco de El Conjuro, les pido por favor que dejen su me gusta, comenten su parte favorita de la charla y así vamos a poder tener cada vez más y más oportunidades como esta. Así que sin más, les presento a el elenco de El Conjuro Me Hizo Hacerlo, película que ya está disponible en cines de Latinoamérica. Hi Vera, hi Patrick.
Hello.
Such a pleasure to meet you. Hi Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Hi, Lucas. I'm very good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for your time. For me, you are like Paul Newman and John Woodward of the horror genre, man. I love you guys. I love you.
I love your room. You've got so many beautiful things in your room.
Thank you so much. I have my own pop culture Warren room here. I really love the way your camera looks. It's amazing. Maybe the best camera in the Zoom's history.
You're talking about the Zoom camera? Oh yeah, we got the very best, top of the line. Comes from Mr. Zoom himself. He invented it.
How was your approach to build this relationship and take this even further for a third time?
Approach, dude. How did we approach it?
I'm gonna let you answer that.
Sure. I just do with him. It's easy with Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, I know.
It's really just willingness. It's a whole lot of part willingness, and then you just rely on the beautiful, beautiful stuff that they write for us to do. And some of it is some of the simplest things in portraying this unconditional love and this really profound love.
I love the way you explained it because it's so hard to explain chemistry, and that's the magic between you two, I think.
Well, it is true, and we obviously get asked that a lot, which is lovely. Yeah. It first of all, but also, you know, without sounding callous, I mean, it's our job, right? But it's man, it helps when it doesn't have to feel fake. And usually, whether it's real or fake, is reliant on trust, right? It really is like any relationship. I mean, whether it's a first date or you've been married for 30 years, like, do you trust yourself to make mistakes? Do you trust yourself to take a big swing? Do you trust yourself that if I fall, you're going to catch me? I mean, it's acting 101, it's relationship 101, and it's sort of chemistry 101. Like, you're going for the same goal. We're kind of going down this hallway towards some great film at the end. We don't know what that is yet. We're kind of knocking into each other and dancing sometimes, and sometimes she's throwing me and I'm throwing her, you know, but we're all moving towards the same goal.
How was your approach to play Arne?
The approach was I just had to go into every scene figuring out what was going to work in that moment, because what scares you in one moment, you've come to terms with it by the time you do the next take. And I never wanted it to be very general, you know, just be screaming and crying. I always had to have something specific that I was trying to fight against and overcome, even though I'm just screaming and crying if you see it. So I would, you know, in one scene I'd be imagining like my dad being thrown into a volcano, or, you know, something.
Oh, man, that's dark. Come on.
You know what I mean? Just like really there was a couple, my dad was often really the victim of these things. I would picture him on a building, like with a rope, and he's leaning off, and I have to let go of the rope, and he's telling me to let go of the rope. And I'm like, no, I won't let go of the rope, but really I'm just screaming and crying in the Conjuring film. So it's all very convoluted. So it's so hard to answer. It was really
you should tell that you should tell that story in the next Father's Day, man.
Yeah, I think he'd like it. He was involved. I was thinking of him, you know?
Definitely. He will be so proud of you. I almost feel the horror is as fun to shoot as horrifying to watch. You know, which was the scenes that made you your day as a director in this movie?
Oh, I think definitely the exorcism. The opening exorcism is a sequence that I am so proud of. It was that even the actors involved, I think everybody, you know, is one of these few scenes that everybody in the movie is involved in. You know, we have a big cast and they're kind of thrown into kind of different directions over the course of the film. But that is like it opens our movie and it kind of brings everyone together. And it was, you know, I think that it was really fun to, you know, to plan that, to come up with the ideas that, you know, made it into the movie. It was honestly unsettling and exciting, but also scary to just research it. You know, there at the end of the movie, we play the actual recording of it, and we played that for the actors before we got into it. And, you know, it left like this really palpable feeling of just, you know, fear. Like you could just feel like there was this kind of, you know, incredible, this was real. It was emotionally real for people that, you know, they definitely experienced it. And then, you know, we worked with this this young girl, this incredible contortionist. Her name was Emerald Wolf. And all of that contortions, all in camera. Like we put Julian's face on hers. We didn't have any wires, and it was never sped up. Like there's no CGI. And of course, Julian's face goes on her body. But like beyond that, like, and you know, there's the scene where she's like lying down and then she kind of like snaps up. And that was all in camera. That was not like, and it wasn't even sped up. Like, you know, there's, I think a lot of times you would just assume, okay, well, it never went that fast. And it wasn't even supposed to go that fast. Originally, I was gonna she does it really slow. And we did a couple takes like that. And I was like, Emerald, what else can you do? And she's like, I could do it fast. And I was like, oh, show me it. And then she was like, whoosh, and everyone on set was like,
oh my God, yeah.
I was like, we're doing that. It's going in the movie.
Talking about your relationship with the director, with Michael, which was the scenes that made your day as an actor and working with the director?
Well, so like working with Michael is his first time doing a Conjuring film. It was my first time. We were kind of in it together. And he was, even though he was doing it for the first time as well, he just supported me so well and was a real champion of me. And I felt very protected and held on set, which is good. It's nice when you're dealing with that dark content. But also, he just fucking loves horror so much. He loves it. Like he's watching the 10th take of some monster popping out of something, and he's going, yeah, you know, constantly. And this is at the end of a 12-hour workday where just
amazing.
Everybody else checked out. And even then I'm going like, oh, come on, Michael, you know, like, let's just go home. But it keeps you going every day, you know, and you eventually you're like, fuck it. He's just an enthusiastic bastard. And I've just got to go for it and be enthusiastic as he is.
My money was in that scene or in the water bed.
Yeah.
I was figuring that would be so fun to shoot this scene. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, I think a lot of people love that scene. It is like, it was definitely a very hard scene to do. We basically built 2 different sets. We had all these different water beds. We had like one full water bed, one water bed that can break, one water bed. Like it was really, it's funny because you don't even like going into it. You don't even think how complicated it's going to get. But when you're like breaking something and then you have someone underneath, you know, reaching up, I mean, we had to give him like the guy underneath, you know, our creature, we had to give him like a little, even though he wasn't submerged in the water, we had to give him like scuba tank. So, because like so much water was coming down onto his body, onto his face. I mean, it got to be so complicated. It felt like we were doing a Mission Impossible movie.
I know that you didn't have the chance to meet with the real Ed, but I was wondering if talking with Lorraine, you got the chance to make a mental painting of him and their relationship.
Oh yes, certainly, and then I'll be quiet. I mean, I actually, you know, Tony Spira, so Judy's husband, so really Ed's son-in-law, Tony, he was really close with Ed. I feel like he was a real father figure to him. So every time I see Tony, he'll even email me randomly or send me little snippets of things or tapes or recordings of him. So he's been a good resource as well, because it's wonderful. Even when we knew Lorraine, her vision of Ed, obviously the man passed away. They were married for a long time, so it's with beautiful rose-colored glasses, of course, so it's nice to get in with Tony and sort of talk about, he liked to make jokes, he liked to cut up people, he was very blue-collar, that stuff actually does help me quite a bit.
Did you know anything about the infamous case that this movie is inspired by?
I wasn't familiar with the case beforehand. Obviously really, really interesting and kind of horrifying what happened. At the end of the film, as you've seen, they have a recording of the real exorcism that went on and led to these events, or at least was at the start of them. But I mostly I was just trying to stick with Arne's story. And in this, Arne doesn't know if he did it because he's evil. He doubts himself. The whole world is against him. He's brought to court and he's put in prison. He really feels the brunt of society on him. Even the scene with all the reporters coming at him, he feels culpable, and he doesn't know if when he invited the demon in, does that mean that he's responsible for what happened? And he's very conflicted. So
Definitely.
just the way that he changes his mind on what happened was all I could really keep up with. And if I really don't know what happened. I guess I've got some speculation that often changes. But at the time, it was more important just to see what the character on the script, on the page, what he sees.
I really enjoyed all the callbacks to the first two movies. Elvis, the traveling shoot through the house, obviously. Did you have this kind of pressure of make this checklist of everything for every callback to the first two movies, or you had this freedom to work?
From the producers and from James, they basically were incredibly empowering, and they were like, do whatever you want. I think the pressure came, really from myself, and honestly,
I know.
I'm just as much a fan as I think so many people out there, and I think it's so easy to forget that the filmmakers are actually also fans of these franchises. So I'm coming to it first and foremost, with a love of the series, and I want to honor the series. And even though we're doing so much new stuff in this, and there's such a kind of a great adventure ahead for the Warrens, I also wanted to really be, true to that core spirit. And so there was those things that, you almost need those tracking shots that are so, conjuring. You need to say that, because I think it's a way of just saying to the fans that, we know everything that's come before, and we love that, and we respect that. It's a conversation that, it's not so much just checking, things off. It's a conversation. You're saying to the fans, I love this franchise as much as you do, and we're going to go on this journey together.
8 years after the first one, how do you feel with these characters? Do you have any still hunger for more cases?
I do. I love growing old with these characters. I love this character. As a female character, I think there's she's so beautiful to me, and so beautiful to portray, and ultimately it's the message, right? It's the message that constantly, time and time again, we said that where love conquers all negative things, all negativity, all things. Love always wins. Surrender to love. And so there's that. But I genuinely love making these movies. We have so much fun doing it together with a crew that we've grown up with. And it would be incredible to have another opportunity after this.
Love it. Rory, we run out of time. Thank you so much for this interview, and congratulations on the movie, man.
No, thank you.
I love you both, guys. Thank you for our time. It was an honor to talk with you.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you.
And congratulations on the movie. I really enjoyed the fact that it's kind of different from the first two. Congratulations, man.
Hey, thank you so much. It was so great to meet you.